The painting you are looking at is El Angelus. Jean-François Millet painted it in 1859 in Barbizon, a village near Paris, where painters from the artistic movement known as realism went. During this convulsed period in France, important historical milestones coincided, such as Louis-Philippe Napoleon's government, Napoleon III, married to Eugenia de Montijo from Granada, or the famous social uprising known as the Paris Commune, 1871. In this scene of the painting are people working the land. One can observe that there are not many elements. In fact, there are only 3 objects: a wheelbarrow, a basket, and farming implements, next to 2 agricultural workers, a man and a woman. These 5 figures in the foreground fill the scene with great austerity. The simplicity of the working tools and clothes of the agricultural workers betrays how arduous and terrible the working conditions of that period were. One can see the village with its bell tower in the background. There is no doubt that the agricultural workers have just heard the peal of the bells, announcing it is time to pray the Angelus. This moment is very important, so much so that they have stopped working. It is not a rest. It is time to be grateful for the little they have. Guy de Maupassant, a popular writer of the time, described these workers in The Old Man.
Their bony, thin and flat bodies were drawn under tight wool that pressed into their waists. A yellowy white and dirty cap partly covered his sticky limp hair, and his shallow, gaunt face with irregular features and toothless mouth showed the brutal and wild appearance that the agricultural workers sometimes have.
He also described the agricultural worker in The Rope.
The men walked slowly, pushing their bodies forward every time they moved their long, twisted legs, deformed by hard work, due to the pressure over the runner that the left shoulder lifts, due to the reaping of the wheat, which makes them separate the knees to get a better grip on the ground. In a phrase, due to all the slow and tiring agricultural jobs.
The Angelus, from an artistic point of view, caused an impact on important artists such as Vincent van Gogh or Salvador Dali, due to the composition of its figures and the balance of the colours of the sunset.
Yes, Millet's painting, the Angelus of the night. It is something else. It is powerful. It is poetry.
This is the sentence Van Gogh used to describe it to his brother Theo. This painting also obsessed Dali, as we will later see, given that it was omnipresent in his time in schools and homes. Another social condition of the agricultural workers was their bad diet.
Everyone lived laboriously, with soups, potatoes and fresh air. At 7 o'clock in the morning, noon and 6 in the evening, every matrimony would call their family to divide the food, as those who look after ducks gather the animals. The poor things would line up along the table, varnished due to the wear of half a century. The mouth of the smallest of all just reached the level of the table. They would give them a plate with bread soaked in water, used to boil potatoes, half a cabbage and 3 onions, and everyone hungrily devoured it. The mother would feed the youngest.
After this account by Maupassant, it is not difficult to imagine that only the strongest survived. But did you know that Millet's The Angelus hides the representation of a funeral? Salvador Dali always suspected that Millet, probably advised by the person who bought the painting, changed elements decisive for its understanding. In effect, look at the basket. It is right in the middle of the painting. It occupies a crucial, prominent, important, even excessive space for a simple basket of potatoes. Look at the agricultural workers. They are surrounding it. The three elements, man, woman, and basket, form one. The agricultural workers seem dismayed, spiritual. Some of these details made Dali think that this field scene was in fact burial, a parent's farewell to their dead son. In 1963, at the Louvre Museum's laboratory in Paris, the Angelus was x-rayed, confirming that underneath the basket of potatoes, in between the workers, there was a geometrical shape that could be a small coffin. The pace of daily work was not interrupted, not even for the grieving parents.